By popular demand, we are back. That's right, bullish Bitcoin banter and bullshit brought to you by Mr. Orlin, aka the Trillion Dollar Man, Dr. Evil 10%, aka the People's Champ, myself, Sir Neverlook, aka the Excellence of Execution, and no surprise for regular viewers and listeners, no misses, no show. This is pod 179. What's going on, guys?
I mean, still in the doldrums, aren't we, in price wise? But
Yeah,
yeah, still at 100K in dollars, but down from all-time
just
highs.
feels.
Apparently the bear market's in, everyone's getting depressed. But I've seen on the Bitcoin Twitters that it seems to be a couple of whales that seem to have woken up from a decade or two of hodling, and they've got tens of thousands of Bitcoin and just emptying some wallets. So seems to be the bulk of the sell pressure, but it's uh it's quite admirable, I think, at the moment that going from essentially 90K in pounds to 80K, that's the big dips that we have now in over the course of like a month. That was I don't know, it still makes me a little bit worried about the how good this bull market's going to be. Because typically we'll get two or three big drawdowns on the way up in a bull market. And if we're just doing 10, 15s, it tends to then mean, well, the upside is also limited because you need to wash as many people out as possible and then get as many people excited again to for the next leg up. So
Yeah.
either people just understand Bitcoin better now, and I think we're just harder to wash out. Obviously, there's institutional investors in as well, which are very hard to wash out because quite often they're legally obliged to hold until the next board meeting or whatever. So it stops these emotional decisions from going through like retail does. But yeah, it's just a bit sideways, isn't it? It's we keep coming back to these levels that we've been at 2 or 3 years previous, and even though this year we're still double up in price, it'd just be nice to see some fresh air. I think 100K in pounds would be nice just to smash through that. Let's just fucking get going. I just want a fucking bit of buzz. I want to see people buying some Lambos and just having a bit of fun, you know. I think
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't
well,
it?
we need some dickheads. Like what it's all got very sensible. Whereas
Yeah. I mean,
where's the Lambo Moon Boy is gone.
I, I just want the more I told you so's and also send out the gifts. I enjoy sending out the gifts to people.
well,
Like my other
yeah.
groups, and they're just like, we know you bought Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I fucking told you though, dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like you say, a little bit of yeah, blue skies and then being able to go back to everyone to say, "Do you remember the conversation? Oh, that bragging rights priceless."
Yeah. I think mine was, well, can't you tell us about Bitcoin? I said, here's a book, here's an Audible recording which you can listen to for free. Listen to it. And we're like, when do I get a chance to that? I'm like, well, what do you do? What are you doing at night? I'm playing video games. So you're playing video games and jacking off. You could um you could read a fucking book instead. It's well worth your while. Oh, no, I won't do that. And so I was telling them to do this at like 15K.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still want this year, I need 240K purely so I can do the ultimate I told you so on LinkedIn because I did Bitcoin was
Oh
5K.
yes.
Bitcoin was 5K, I think 5 years ago in 2020 when I wrote the article.
Oh, is this a famous post?
Yeah.
The infamous post,
I
yes.
did all technical and all explanation posts around Bitcoin. And to be fair, I think it was you guys. Just when everyone just talks about price, you should do a price one. I didn't want to do price though. I don't like talking about price in Bitcoin because that's all people care about. And it's like you're missing the point. But it's like, but just do it and have a point as well. I'm like, okay, I'll try and make that work. So it forced me to make some predictions. And at the moment, they've all come true from 5K. I think there was a 50K one, a 100K one, and then I said 240. But so 240 is
Oh
uh,
yeah, here you go.
this
Yeah, I
year.
found the article. How high will the Bitcoin price go? Yeah, so when it's 5K, 1 to 2 years for 50K. And this week was hit next target 240 by 2025. So when it hits the end of this year, we're like, you're wrong, dickhead.
Only 230, you know.
Yeah.
You were wrong, so wrong.
Yeah, and you just see like, Ross, you invested in Bitcoin. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, well, it would just be nice to for it to hit that. I think that's in pounds as well, to be fair. So it needs to hit about 300K in dollars. Got a bit of
Please.
work to do,
Yeah.
but Jesus, the bull market tends to be over a couple of months. We're in September now. These tend to be the business months, the next 2 or 3. Can we do
Think I'd
200K? Your little cheeky 3x?
I'd
Let
look
the
at where the
engines
peak. I'd
start.
look at where the peak. I look at where the peak has been on every cycle, and it's always been the latter part of the year, hasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's nice and far away from tax season. Literally, that tends to be what kills the bull run because people start
Yes.
to prepare for January, and that's when people have to pay their taxes. So in December, people tend to start selling assets for their tax bill in January. So
Yeah.
it kills a lot of things. And obviously it's Christmas as well, so people have their expenses are higher. Like this December's a shitty month, and for whatever reason, Bitcoin tends to go nuts in end of September, October. They tend to be its months, and then it blows off in November, and then December hits, and it's freaking down only, and it's always a bit
Yeah.
Yeah.
pressing.
He, so looking at the cycles on the first halving, it peaked in November at $1,156. And the second one, it peaked in December 2017 at $20,089.
Hmm,
And then the third, it was November in $68,789.
hmm.
And
There we
obviously
go.
we're sitting in September now. So it's one to kind of like watch for the listeners because like whilst we can't say, oh yeah, because of this pattern it will pick, and it's a good reason. It's the tax season. It's one of the typical ones, but we're now in institutional investors countries.
Yeah.
How's that going to play out for tax season? Because it may not
Yeah.
follow the same pattern.
No, yeah, companies have taxes, but they don't tend to sell their assets to pay those taxes.
And it's also going to be because they're not selling, are we going to see such a severe dip afterwards?
Yeah, well, that's my worry is that we also won't see a higher peak, but yeah, we'll see because volatility just seems to be a bit down at the moment, on the upside and the downside, which yeah, there's plenty of people that are again we're at this point in the cycle, right, where people are going, this is the super cycle. Now all we're going to do is go up about 50 to 100% a year, every year, forever. There's never going to be a bear market. It's just this until Bitcoin absorbs everything. And obviously, this is the third time I've heard that. So I am hence very skeptical. I believed it the first two. Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot if you yeah, fooled the third time. So I'm kind of thinking, you know what, it probably isn't. Bitcoin probably isn't stable enough to not have a bear market. So I think, but the good side of that is that it means we have a bull market, so you can get excited. Who knows how high it goes? Then we have a couple of years of pain, then we go again. A couple of years of pain, we go again. I don't know. For me, it almost feels like I've got used to almost that workout. And
Yeah.
if we ever move to a cycle where it's like, oh yeah, the big ups and big downs are gone. Now we're just 50 to 100% up every year. It's just literally just up only. Don't know, part of me almost feels sad and goes, no, I like the pain. I like being
What?
80% down sometimes because fuck me, it feels so much better because the people that we say I told you so to, even though when you're 80% down, you're still, 3, 4, 5x up on your initial purchase. They forget
Yeah.
that. They just go, but you're 80% down from all-time highs. Aren't you a moron for holding that? You should have just cashed out. You've got to suck up all that. for 2 or 3
Oh,
years, and then you get back to the previous high and you smash through it, and then you just go still here, still huddling, and those people still aren't in. They instead of buying on that 80% dip, they sent a text to you going, "Have you still got
Uh,
your Bitcoin?" Like, I've still got
well,
my Bitcoin, you can't.
well, I must have told you the story about Mrs. Evil, 10%. And she's just like, do you not wish that you sold your Bitcoin when it was 50K? It's like, no, the principle's still the same. Nothing's changed. There's no extra issuance of Bitcoin. The whole network's exactly the same. And she's just like, hmm. And then she's just constantly didn't really want to talk about Bitcoin for those couple of years, and just like, you're a fucking idiot. And then when it started booming because of the ETF, she's like, how much have you got in Bitcoin? And I was like, oh, you're interested now, are you?
Why didn't you put more in?
Yeah, why don't you put
Why
more
didn't
in?
you ask me to put some of my money in?
And then
Oh, right, yeah, yeah. And what would have happened? The first dip, you'd have been selling and running off because you don't
then
fuck.
my I've never really spoken to my parents about it because I just went, they won't get it. They're in their 70s. And this was recent. I can't remember what it was, but my mum said to my wife, Dr. Evil, 10%, he lost a load of money in crypto, didn't he? And I was like, no, that's not how it works.
It went down, but it went up again by a
Yeah.
lot more.
And Dr. Evil stayed true to his investment and knew what he was investing in.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this is a good jump off to jump to our first story because we have a
yeah.
story submitted here by young MBA, otherwise known as BTC Tom or Tom BTC, depending on how you want to read his handle. There he freaking is. The Villa fan that he is, he's currently crying about how bad his football team is and blaming that they haven't got enough money because the people won't let them spend their money. So he's crying. But anyway, he
Just bought
wants to,
Jadon Sancho, and if history tells us anything, all United players perform once they leave United.
yeah, well, they had Rashford last year, so why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah.
Might
Why not
get
have
might
Sancho
get
this year? Yeah, see how he does. But anyway, um, I think it's a good tweet, right? It's a nice controversial tweet as well. So this guy's saying, unpopular opinion, you shouldn't DCA into Bitcoin. You're introducing sideline capital risk, aka opportunity cost risk. Just buy Bitcoin on the spot when you have excess cash. Don't sit the cash to the side and slowly buy Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin's gains happen so infrequently that to DCA becomes analogous to time in the market. Time in the market is what matters, especially with Bitcoin. And so young MBA wanted to just discuss that little tweet. So discuss thoughts and comments.
young MBO can go and fuck himself. I'm not discussing this.
It, it's so funny that we bring this up, and it's great because obviously beforehand we look at the stories, and I say to everyone to DCA, but I'm the opposite. I like in terms of full transparency, I have never DCA'd properly. I've DCA'd by dumping and then just hodling each and every time. Given the nature of the work that we do, I just seem to have, you know, cash or larger amounts, and then I just put it in and then I stop. I do not do a regular monthly or up until what is going to happen right now. But other than that, I'm that guy and I stand by exactly what he's just said. It's so hard and difficult but I would say, weirdly enough, it's like I have timed the market because each time it's then jumped up and gone up, but through no genius of my own merit.
I've done mainly dumps, but I have done a lot of DCA, but I need to restart 'cause for some reason it's fallen over. And then through my Revolut card, I do DCA in a certain way. So every spend of mine gets rounded up and then times by 10. So sometimes when I spend £1, it rounds up to £2 and times it by 10. So that thing for £1 a packet of crisps or popcorn cost me £11.
And by the
You
way,
still use a Revolut card?
Yeah.
yeah, and by the way, Young MBA actually brought up he noticed on one of the previous pods, Dr. Evil, that you said you'd stop DCAing, but at the very least, and he was like, I can't believe you let it go. Why is he not DCAing anymore? Has he lost the faith?
You,
He's
you
bearish on
used to
Bitcoin.
DCA on the pod. I remember
Sorry?
you used to
Yeah.
DCA
I think I
when we
set it,
on.
I think I got it automated and it fell over and I've just never got round to doing it. So I've just done it through my Revolut card. So I think that rounds up quite heavily every month.
But that's not purposeful buying, though, is it? That's upside. The DCA should be a
A
trigger.
regular, yeah,
Because also, by the way, like don't DCA through Revolut. It's horrendous. The fees and stuff are nuts. It's very
Yeah.
bad. If you do it on Kraken, do it on Kraken Pro, you pretty much there's near zero fees. Do it in Revolut, the fees are crazy and the spread is crazy. Like you will just
It
get
is it's kind of like with a Revolut, it's punishing yourself for any kind of like purchase because that's where I put my personal spend. So I kind of got a joint account where all the bills go
yeah.
out of, and this is kind of like, oh yeah,
It's fine
you
on
want to,
top of DCAing. I completely agree, but the DCA needs to be there.
yeah.
yeah. I think it's just more kind of like being dumps, in all honesty, since so it's just like every so often it's like, oh yeah, I've got this, let's put it on it.
Well, yeah, fair enough. So my take on this, should you not DCA into Bitcoin? Well, I'm similar to you, Sinead, but like obviously from my personal standpoint, I bought a tiny amount of Bitcoin. Um, I think this was like in 2013 or something, and as an experiment. And then about a year later, I sold it and I did nothing with Bitcoin for a couple of years because I'd done no reading on Bitcoin, just was following some tweet or article I'd read. And then when I got it, when I watched the videos and I did my reading, the switch had just clicked, all in, sold everything, every asset I had, all in on Bitcoin. So did I DCA either? And I don't think at any point did I DCA really. Other it's just lumps. And whenever I came into
Yeah.
money in some shape or form, boof, in it goes, in it goes.
I think
So what this is
initially,
missing, yeah, I'll just make a point here. So what's missing is all of us, I think, when we're saying we lumped in, we got Bitcoin, we got it.
Yes.
So it's safe because the reason why we tell the majority of noobs coming into Bitcoin DCA is because if they do come in with whatever their lump sum they have, whether it's 5K or 10K or 500K, or anything in the middle, they are emotionally attached to that money. So if they all in on it on day one and Bitcoin drops by 10-20% tomorrow, the very likely thing that they do will be to panic and sell. So you need to protect the investor from themselves because
Yeah.
if they just held for the 5 years, in the entire history of Bitcoin, you'll be significantly up on your investment. But over a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month period, you could be anything from 10 to 80% down. So you've got to be prepared to ride out that kind of drawdown and not panic. And as Bitcoiners, we also don't know what the price is going to do, even though we started this off with the next 2 months, we were going to probably 3x. We haven't got a fucking clue. We might fucking go down 70% in the next 3 months instead. I don't know.
lump
And
into F.
yeah,
But we're ready
and,
for
yeah, and my
it.
actions will it doesn't matter. Like in reality, I'm all
Doesn't
in on
matter.
Bitcoin at this point. And we
Yeah.
go down 70%, I lose 70% of my wealth. If we go up by 3x in the next 3 months, I gain 3x of my wealth. It is what it is. I'm holding for in infinity and passing this down generation.
Forever, Laura.
I mean,
Forever.
But
in it,
for the average noob coming in, if you've got 10K to put into Bitcoin, you absolutely should spread that over a number of months. Sure, just purely so they protect themselves from lumping in 10K and having a big dip and then wanting to sell. Instead, split
I
it into
think if
10, split the 10K into 1K chunks and go buy one this week, buy one in another 2 weeks, one in another 2 weeks, one in another 2 weeks. And if at some point, read the Bitcoin Standard, listen to these
Mm,
podcasts, and if you get that the Bitcoin bug and you realize Bitcoin is the next evolution of money and it just fucking rings a bell and you're like, I am going to sell everything and put it into Bitcoin. Congrats, you're in. Now you're a grown up and you can come in and if we drop 20 or 30% tomorrow, you'll go, it doesn't matter. There's just a load of people that are wrong selling. I'm
Yeah.
right, I'm holding. This time next year, I'll be proven right. So that's why we say DCA for the majority, because it by and large is to protect them from themselves. And I think also most people also obviously work a wage. So once you've lumped in whatever spare cash you have, you lump in, you should then be a percentage of your wage every month. You should be DCAing that in. That's
Yeah.
that's obviously the healthy thing, but in reality, like the core, point of this tweet is that, oh, if you've got that 10K, by not putting it in, you're trying to time the market in some shape or form. And he's right, because I remember saying this to my brother and my dad, when they first came in, they had I think they had one between 1 and 5K or something each to put in. And like, what do we do? Should we lump in or should we spread it? And I advised them all to spread it just to be emotionally less connected to a price. And both of them lumped in anyway, because guess what? They got excited. But fortunately, they were kind of attached to me. And any dip, I was like, don't fucking do anything. And eventually, a couple of years later, you're in the nice green fields of, oh yeah, yeah, one Bitcoin's one Bitcoin. Don't care about the fiat denomination. It doesn't really matter. But that's why we say DCA though. So I think encouraging people to say, oh, DCA is wrong, you should lump in, that's the standard. You should only lump in if you get it and you can withstand an 80% drawdown in the next year. If you can't withstand that, and most people can't, you should encourage most new people to Bitcoin should DCA, in my opinion.
Well, I would also go further to add that most people that we speak to don't really have a big lump sum to even
Mm.
dump into Bitcoin. So if even if it's like £10 or even five, we're just simply telling them to get off zero, but equally that same money that you're going to put into Bitcoin will be better off if you just hold it and do nothing than it would be if it's sat in the bank. And then they can see that the number goes up and then they can do it. And if they can obviously do it on a regular basis, great. But yeah, the majority of people that I know, they've never ever had a big wad of cash thinking, I want to go and do something with it. That's just in my experience. But yeah, we are definitely, as you say, trying to protect them so that their money just doesn't evaporate. And then, because if it does, and not that it will, or if it did, then of course we know we've lost them.
Yeah. And of course, like the thing is like when I tell someone if they got 10K, I'll spread it over a number of months. And I remember saying this
Yeah.
to my brother and my dad. And this was in I think it was late 2016 or early 2017. It's right during the bull market. And but I didn't know it was going to keep going up. So
Mm,
I wanted to protect them from themselves. So I encouraged them to DCA. And as it was, they both lumped in and then the price just went up only. Right. And it was the best decision because they would have been left leaving money on the table and their fiat would have been massively outrun by what Bitcoin ended up doing. I think it was around the 3K mark or something, and within like 3 or 4 months, it was at 20K. And you go, wow, if you'd have DCA'd in, you'd be buying your last bit at 20K, not at three. So that's
yeah.
a lot of money left on the table. But they're the good scenarios where lumping in worked. If they'd have a lot of people got to Bitcoin, they didn't get into Bitcoin at 3 to 5K. they got in it around the 20 mark. And then we went from 20 back down to 3. So imagine if you lumped in at 20.
Yeah.
Whereas if you DCA'd at 20, you'd have bought in at 20, then at 15, 14, 13, 12, 10. And it'd have been pretty brutal still. Your average would have been well below your purchase price, but it wouldn't have been as brutal as just putting it all in at 20. So that's what we mean, really. It's no one wants to buy
Actually
the
calling life.
all-time high. And the thing is, at the time, when my brother and my dad were getting in, Bitcoin was at all-time highs. The previous all-time high had been $1,000, and we're now at three, four, $5,000. And you go, is this the top of 5x? We didn't know it's going to be a 20x that time. It could have been a 30x, 40x, or the 5x. When they lumped in at the 4 or 5K, that could have been the top. And then it was just down only for 3 years. They got lucky in the fact that we went from 5 to 20, but yeah, so it's a good little topic, but I think in reality it all comes down to if you get Bitcoin, fiat is a shit coin and you want to get out of it and it just makes sense and there's nothing that's gonna, Bitcoin can drop 80% tomorrow. Am I gonna sell it all and switch into pounds? Like, am I fucked? No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a bit gutted that my Bitcoin has less spending power in pound terms, but that's all that's happening. I'm just going to be gutted. I'm not switching. Because I'm terrified. I had those pounds before. I don't want those pounds back. That's garbage. I got to hold it in a bank. A bank? Oh, like why
Yeah.
would I trust those guys with my money? Give my fucking hardware wallet, my 24 words. That's security, not a bank.
I think we've also said this previously before as well. Is like we encourage and urge people to spend £20 on the Bitcoin standard first before they even DCA anything.
Mm.
That's that's the first commitment that we want them to do, again, to protect themselves so that they understand that once they go in, that they won't then obviously just sell when the price goes down, which it inevitably does when you first start to buy into it. And then they don't do that part. And I know we've covered this, but we've still never figured out what the right orange pill dosage is. So it's just a combination of the DCA, only a bit, read the Bitcoin standard, try this. But ultimately, once you get it, just lump in, and then try and find some more cash to lump in some more so you can get some more sats.
And then take some debt, buy that.
So,
Found
yeah,
a company that takes and then buy that with
yeah,
Bitcoin and become Micro Sailor 2.0. Yeah.
exactly.
Uh, oh man. All right, cool. So next story is one of yours. So never look. You put this in. So
Yeah.
yeah, Bitcoin's now risen 5,000% since the Bitcoin sign guy photobombed Janet Yellen.
Awesome, right?
Famous image,
Just to
yeah.
think.
Immortalized by a young MBA actually at my wedding. He
That's right.
photobombed me with buy Bitcoin as I was doing my vows to get married. There was a random ginger going buy Bitcoin on a notepad behind my head that is now proudly hung on my kitchen wall. So I have
Ah,
I am the Janet Yellen of that picture in my wedding picture being photobombed by Bitcoin page. Yeah, 5,000%, not bad, eh? So that's a 50x.
what year was that photo from?
Yeah, I don't know. It was don't know, do a 50x offer about 2K, so probably 2017, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
S&P was 2440.
yeah, I reckon 2017. It happened whilst I was in Bitcoin. So yeah, I think it's 2017 when Bitcoin was about two.
Yeah, look at me S&P. it's somewhere about May, June of 2017. So pretty spot on. Fair play.
Not bad, not bad. I know my Bitcoin law. Um, yeah, so this next story like links, I think, nicely as well to what we've
Yeah.
been discussing, right? So this is it's quite a long Bitcoin Twitter thread, but essentially it says Bitcoin. The only reason I really linked it is that Bitcoin is the Stanford marshmallow test for 8 billion adults. And for anyone that doesn't know, the Stanford marshmallow experiment is a well-known psychology test where they put some children in a room and basically give them one marshmallow and then walk out the room, but go, if you don't eat that marshmallow whilst I'm gone, when I come back, you can have two. And the kids that couldn't wait and ate the marshmallow um, tended to do worse in life than the kids that would be able to wait. That basically formed or basically started the thesis that children that can delay gratification are likely to be more successful in life. So delaying gratification is a positive trait in humans. And he's basically relating that to Bitcoin. And obviously it couldn't be truer, right? You know, if you want your quick gains and get rich overnight, you go into the shitcoin casino, don't you? I want a 10x in the next week. Bitcoin's not going to do that, but you buy and hold for 5 to 10 years and the the gains will come your way. So I think it is very similar to the Stanford marshmallow test, right? You know, the people that failed go into shitcoin land, the people that passed that test end up Bitcoiners, and that's essentially what he's saying here, and that the people that can delay gratification essentially have higher IQ. And by the way, success was measured not only in financial success, but also just marital relationships, um, every kind of the core aspects to life, career and
Mm.
family. The people that said no to one marshmallow and could wait for the second did better maritally and financially. So he was just relating it back to Bitcoin then. I thought, oh, that's quite a nice little analogy. I agree, because I guess it makes me look smart because I'm a Bitcoiner. So I liked it. It I approved it. It worked well with my biases. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely get it because you kind of think about we always talk about the low time preference on the pod. You kind of think about what else do Bitcoiners do, and it's typically always like health, fitness, family, hobbies. It's always about that kind of investing for the future, isn't it? Um, and Bitcoin is ultimately because we could have sold at 50 grand top back in my last cycle and go, oh yeah, I'll catch it when it hits the doldrums. It did hit the doldrums, but I just feel it's too risky because this could be the cycle where we don't get the doldrums, because we've got the institutions, we've got the countries. And I think it all just plays into that self control. And it is right, having that self control in many different areas in life does help you. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful, but I think it does help.
I think so. It's that discipline again goes back to, we had the discipline to read and understand the Bitcoin standard as well as countless of other Bitcoin content. And then once you have that, you then just have that steely, just that fortitude just to be able to be like, no. And I think I asked you this a while back, and obviously you gave me the answer of, when money, the majority of things is no object, and again, I'm kind of in the similar position of like, how do you just simply say no? And it wasn't until, of course, it may be 2 a.m. and you've had a couple of whiskeys that you buy yourself a tractor. But the but for the large part of it, you're like, "Yeah, I'm okay, thank you." And I still question. because it's weird. I buy myself stuff that I know I don't need, but only under a certain value. Anything, and it's weird, anything over like if it's 50 or 100 quid, I'm like, no, or I will wait and hold, and I don't just ever make what I would call like random or impulsive purchases. I just wait, happy to wait it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, yeah, the low time preference is yeah, it's key. Yeah, it's I always think it's I used to just double everything when I was in Fiat land. Whenever I was buying something, I would double the price and go, that's how much I actually have to earn
Mm.
to get it because the tax man takes half my money. But then you become a Bitcoiner. Now I 10x everything and go, it's not going to be long until if I'd have kept that in Bitcoin, that thing will be 10x. So put another zero on it. Do I still want it with the zero on it? If the other zero
Yeah.
on it still makes it compelling enough and worthwhile to me, I buy it. So
Mm.
there ain't many things that pass that threshold. So it's yeah, so I guess go the stats are worth more then. Ain't getting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of discussion points here. This
Yeah, we've got quite a lot to.
after after 3 weeks, it's like a bit of a philosophical one. So here's another guy,
This
probably
is
trying to
good.
get
This is good.
he's probably trying to make a name for himself, this guy. I don't know no clue who he is, Fernando. But self-custody is Bitcoin's worst meme. It's like insisting everyone should grow their own food. Noble idea, terrible scaling solution. 99% of people never manage private keys. That's fine. Be okay with it. Bitcoin wins when banks have to compete with the math, not
Well,
grandma learns Linux. Stop pretending otherwise.
I think what he's kind of missing, he's trying to make a point, but I feel like it's probably when a solution's brought in which allows grandma to learn without having to go through the difficulties of self-custody. That's what I think. I think there's going to be an evolution around the around self-custody, but we're just not there yet. And it's not going to be
Yeah.
that fucking ornamental sword or whatever the hell we looked at the other week. Remember, it's like that
Yeah.
thing which you had in your lounge. It's just like, oh, this person's got this 200 grand statue, which has obviously got Bitcoin stored in it. I'm going to go round and mug them, tie them up, and start cutting off fingers until they give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you spent 200 grand on the statue that looks after your Bitcoin, then how much fucking Bitcoin's in there?
But yeah, I
Yeah.
do think there's got to be an evolution about how about self-custody, but I kind of look at it and go, banks, I think some banks will, you have Coinbase or whatever, but I think there's going to be this kind of like in between because we know we can't trust banks.
I agree. Not only self-custody, but then equally, like the kill switch in terms of how it's passed down and how you can trust somebody else in the event of something tragic happens to you. So I think I'd double down on that because it's not easy. And I've seen a couple of life events where one was actually our friend, Mrs. No Show, where that guy, where he went to the parade, the Liverpool parade, and he could have well lost his Bitcoin if, in terms of, so no one died when the guy ran into the people.
Oh,
Do you
right.
remember when
Oh, so if Mrs. No Show had
if,
died, his Bitcoin was gone.
yes,
No one else knows how to use
correct,
it. All right.
correct. And I think that that is a big thing that still needs to be solved with people,
Hmm.
as well as the self-custody thing. So I think we
Yeah.
need some evolution on both of those fronts. There's probably others, but that also goes along in my mind quite often because I was speaking to
I
some
think
people and
I would challenge that it probably wouldn't have, provided one of, say, us. knew enough, because obviously we know how to access Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we'd need his PIN code for his ledger or Jade, wouldn't we?
Correct.
And if he hasn't written
Yes.
that down in an obvious place, or
Co-
he hasn't trusted one of us with it, then yeah, it's his the brick, isn't it?
You could probably guess what his PIN code is. It'd either be all zeros or 6969.
Give me 1066.
Yeah, so I'm just
164.
like, nah. Let's not pretend we wouldn't be able to get onto his ledger if we found it.
I think you get four guesses though. Is it four or five?
Yeah, that's it.
I'd
You
be
only get a couple
Brick.
of.
I'd be done on one or two.
It would only take a few. Yeah. You may
But
have
yeah,
changed it to 2020 for Jota.
But no, I think this tweet is totally wrong anyway. It's this is a straw man in my opinion, saying that grandma needs to learn Linux. Of course, our grandmas right now are not going to learn Linux. Like personally, my grandmas are all dead, so they ain't
I
learned.
was going to say the same. My grandma's a
Yeah.
dead.
So, and even the grandmas that are alive now in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, yeah, they're not going to learn Linux, and they're also not going to learn Bitcoin. Very, very likely that they are not. But because we're not trying to, the people that are retired and out the game, very, very unlikely to be turned into Bitcoin. They're already established, done. That they're either going to make it with their fiat or they're not going to make it, and they're going to have to rely on handouts. But they're done. So what we're really looking at is the next generation, really. It's probably like the age 50 and below. That's what we're looking at. And the people that are 50 below are technically literate. They know how to use a computer. Know how to use a phone. They probably don't know how to use Linux. Because guess what? You don't need to know how to use Linux to basically use a hardware wallet. And
Hmm.
and I remember this conversation that we had this probably years ago on the pod, where being your own bank is hard. It is. But that's the fact that it isn't hard now, and we trust banks to be the bank for us, you pay a price for that.
Yeah.
You pay
Yeah.
a heavy price. You
Well, let's
inflation happens to you. The potential of having all your assets frozen can happen to you. The fact that someone else is taking your money, putting it into the market, investing it, making a shit ton of cash, keeping it, and then just feeding you the crumbs. That is the cost of outsourcing your banking. So
let's not forget that her money was based on it being a gold IOU, and they stole the gold.
yeah,
So why are you going to trust them with the system? But I do think there's going to be an innovation. There's always going to be an innovation in this kind of space where we are going to end up with that self custody, which helps hit the sweet spot.
yeah,
But I,
I
like I
do
said,
think you're right. I think obviously we're not there yet. We haven't seen it, but in my eyes, right now, we have a USB drive that is relatively easy just to fire up.
you
You
not got a statue in your lounge.
not yet. Might put it in there. Put it in the fountain out in the garden just to really advertise it so everybody can see it. Um, but no, it's literally a USB drive that has a Bitcoin address on it, and you can just send Bitcoin to it, and it's fine. Like the USB drive now works, right? It's safe. The only added layer complication is that USB could fail. So it has built-in backup 24 words. So if that USB drive fails, you can just buy any old other USB drive that is a Bitcoin hardware wallet, then type those 24 words in and it kicks off again. So you need a USB drive that literally is a Bitcoin address. If you can send a Bitcoin transaction, then you can use a hardware wallet and you just need to back it up. And those 24 words is ideally, you don't put them on paper. Ideally, you sketch them in steel, which maybe that sends people a little bit insane and goes, "Oh my God, I'm sketching on steel." It's like literally just we've covered it multiple times on this pod. Just have a look on Amazon. You can get a kit that you can scratch your own words onto steel for £10 now. It used to be hundreds of pounds back when I wanted to do it. It's a tenner now.
That
It's
really cool one, which was it last week, which we did about it was literally on
mm,
what's it called?
washes,
Washers. That is probably one of the best
Yeah,
ones
that's
I've
wicked.
seen. I need to
washes
get
with
one of them.
bolts. Yeah. And so for me, like, Bitcoin is a bit of an IQ test, and it's also a bit of a aptitude and hard work test to go. This is no more complicated. Like when I was about 12, I had a Commodore 64 and trying to get a game to work on that fucking computer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had 8 fucking cassettes. You had to put them in different orders. You had a DOS prompt. You had to fucking figure out everything. I figured that
Taking it
out.
there.
I
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah.
think getting a Commodore 64 game was harder to get running than it was to set up my Bitcoin hardware wallet infrastructure. So when people come up with shit like this and go, oh, 99% of the population aren't going to do this, I go, well, guess what? 99% of the population in your eyes aren't going to make it then. And it's not 99. I actually still think it's a large percent. I would just take 99 probably down to about 80. Like 20% will easily get this. They'll do the research, they'll do the reading, they'll get Bitcoin, and they'll know why this is self-custody, and they'll just do it. Because it is not hard. You do not need hardly any technical expertise to do it. You just need to put some time into watching a couple of videos, do some reading, and it's very, very straightforward. The other 80%, most of them are capable of doing that, but will reject the proposition of Bitcoin for other reasons. They would have got it if they'd have spent the time and done the reading, but they won't because they're tied to their inner matrix and the fact that anyone that challenges their rules of the matrix threatens their place in it, and they will fight people that even want to tell them that they're living in a fake world of money. So that's why they won't come on board. But of course, if you go up to the average person in the street and go, do you know what a hardware wallet is? Like, what's this? How do you back it up? They're gonna look at you like you're fucking crazy. But that's because
Yeah.
they haven't done the work, have they? They don't even know what it is. And they're NPCs, they're in fiat land. But
I think your analogy is really good because in terms of the Commodore 64, because I had a Spectrum and I remember doing exactly that. But it was it was just something inside me that I wanted to do it. Is that was like part of beating the game was just to get on the game.
45 minutes as well, just to load the thing up.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think there's any want or desire in these people that obviously don't want to get Bitcoin. They just want the easy route. And again, that's probably one of you know, if you were going through a checklist of what it is to become a Bitcoiner in terms of, low time preference, etc., and everything else, it's that perseverance or that air of curiosity of, okay, I've understood this part, now what? And I want to understand a little bit more and a little bit more. And once you understand that, then you're prepared to go through what you need to go through to get it. And so, I think we all kind of get that. I know sometimes as well that people that just get into Bitcoin, and I say get into it loosely, then they go on to sell Bitcoin, is because they haven't again done the hard work and they've just kind of taken it on oh well, you've told me to do this, or I trust you, I blindly trust you, as opposed to again putting the work in themselves. And in the shortcut of not putting the work in kind of tells for itself, because when times get hard and we come to a bear market and winter comes, they're off.
All right, let's do Dr. Evil's favorite story of the week, Inflation Weekly.
We knew it was coming.
Like any good reach around, here we are, Inflation Weekly, coming in to deliver, massaging that shaft. So here we are, have we have Pomp, um, saying 3 years ago, he predicted the Fed would increase their inflation rate target.
Just like what retard didn't predict this?
But what's even more shocking, right? So their target typically is 2%. This is crazier. They completely removed reference to any inflation target at all. So they didn't put it up. They just went, that isn't a target. So they basically just went, we're not even, someone went, no, they didn't. But essentially they're slowly abandoning their commitment to 2% inflation. Because this is the thing that any person that is connected to the Fed, the Federal Reserve, or any money printer, typically when you ask them like what is a good rate of inflation, most of them will give you a figure of around 2%. And we've had some great articles and little video clips on this pod over the last couple of years of, I think it was even Powell. Was it what's his name? Robert Powell? What is the head?
Jerome Powell?
Jerome.
Jerome Powell.
Jerome Powell, that's it. Yeah, Jerome Powell.
Yeah.
Being asked, like, why 2% though? Like, what does that do?
Mm,
Why is 2% the magic number? And he couldn't
nice.
fucking answer it. And he just
Well,
went, it's just a number that the
it's
economists
based off
kind of like. And you go, all
it's
right, so
based
we're
off
trying to steal 2% of the net worth of everybody every year. That's the okay number. But why not three?
no,
Why not one?
it's based off gold production. So that's where it's actually come from, but the gold production was estimated to be a 2% increase every
Yeah.
year,
We know
which
That
kind of
that's
makes
worked.
sense. Even though it's
Sorry?
manipulated.
yeah, we know that's also bollocks. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like they go, oh, yeah, it's the aim for 2%, but it's not a 2% increase in monetary value. It's a 2% increase in inflation because things like wages, technology will keep that increase in monetary value down. So really, we've always said it's probably like three times the amount because you look into things where technology and wages can't keep the price down. So beef being prime, and also the rare substances, it always goes up by about 10% at least per year. So housing being a prime example in the UK.
yeah. Yeah, we know they lie. So, but the thing is that they aim for two. It ends up being between 6 to 20 in most countries year
And
on
we
year.
ended up we
Especially,
ended up with about 40% one year in the last five, didn't we?
yeah,
Which everyone seems to have missed.
yeah, especially yeah. We obviously had some spikes during the lockdown period, but the number that they popularly popularize is the 2%, and yeah, I haven't heard them actually discussing it. The gold link is interesting because all that really does is push the question further back, which is, well, why is gold production 2% every year? And suddenly it all falls apart there, and you go, well, show me the data. Show me
Mm.
the evidence that all these mines over the history of the last 200 years have only found 2% additional gold year on year,
Well,
every year, super stable. I
when
think
you st
anybody,
when you start looking into companies, like I said, I think we covered this in a previous one, you realize that their reserves are going up astronomically because they're still trying to keep them alive at gold only increases by 2%. But with new
yeah,
techniques, new seams, technology, they're rinsing it.
yeah. I think I think we would be shocked if someone could just X-ray the whole Earth and just go, how much gold fucking here?
Yeah.
There will be, even the known gold would probably be 10, 20, 30, 50x, probably what they publicize. And then the unmined gold directly below it would be huge amounts. So, but it's interesting that it is pegged to gold because I guess that's what the original lie probably was. That, oh yeah, the gold supply goes up by 2%. That allows, largely what it allows is a lot of people to make a lot of money, and the population at large don't quite feel it immediately. They only feel it over their lifetime, and then by the time they really feel it, they're dead. So it's good. The next generation are ready to rinse now. If you go faster than that, they realize it and rebel. If you go less than that, you leave money on the table. So the 2% is a good number to be public with. The reality of the number is it's between 5 and 20%. But as we've again discussed many times, they take out all the high inflation goods out of the CPI number and just massage it always back down to 2. But the fact that they've removed it, though, at least this is in the US, obviously, as well. And so the last federal report basically just went, yeah, we're not even aiming for 2. We'll just inflation will be what inflation is, and we're not going to necessarily have a target higher or lower than that number.
Which means the genie's out the bottle now.
Yeah.
And I think we're the UK CPI lie. I want to say it came out at 3 or 4%, didn't it?
Yeah.
So once again, they can't even get it down to their lie figure anymore.
Yeah. I think that's why they're ditching the 2. Instead of going, oh, now we're aiming for 4, it's almost, let's just say there is no target. Inflation is what it is. And start getting people used to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12% inflation a year, and just let it become the norm.
It's just until people are angry at these businesses. Oh, Tesco making record profits, Shell, blah blah blah. It's like, do you think we're all in cahoots, or do you think there's a central authority who issues the money who might be causing this? And everyone's so stupid about this point, they can't actually like break through. Oh, this butcher's meat's gone up so much, I'm gonna have to buy it from Tesco or Aldi. Oh no, but the Aldi meat's gone up so much, I'm gonna have to buy fucking tofu, or Beyond Meat burgers or whatever else. And there just doesn't seem to be this critical thinking going, it's happening to everyone. Why is it happening to every business?
Yeah. Are they all profiteering?
Yeah.
Or it's just that money's not worth as much and your wages haven't gone up in line. That's why it's hurting you.
But they don't realize that. And then, everyone wants an inflation rise because of it, but the businesses can only afford to go up for so long.
Yeah, and obviously the inflation pay rises don't work anyway because inflation is a lied number. So if you get an inflation rise, that'll be 2%, but inflation really was 6. So you're still 4% down. So you have 4% less money next year.
Yeah. It's depressing, this one. It's that bloody inflation dragon again.
Yeah.
Coming down, scorching things, making numbers go up.
Oh man, let's really go to the depths of hell. Larry fucking Fink. Here he is. So BlackRock's Larry Fink is now interim co-chair of the WEF. He controls Wall Street, Davos, and the Bitcoin ETF. And oh man, the BlackRock, so obviously BlackRock already own everything, which is why he says they control Wall Street. BlackRock have a typically 10% interest in every single company in the S&P 500. At least, I think it's at least 8%. He does run Davos. They pretty much decide. BlackRock are the deciders on what goes. They fund the majority of the thing. And weirdly, like saying that the Bitcoin ETF is his next biggest thing, it's obviously this is from a Bitcoin account. I don't really necessarily care about that, maybe naively. It's just the fact that the head of the money who controls just about every big business in the world, every government in the world, BlackRock pretty much called the shots. For him to actually publicly go and be the co-chair of the WEF, who indirectly control all the non-economic interests of those political interests with every government in the world. So, for example, they were very influential in influencing the WHO and UN and all that kind of stuff. And obviously the WEF are the founders of the Great Reset, 2030, they want to reset the world, turn it into socialism. They're public with this. There's a website about it. Just search the WAF 2030 Great Reset. It's literally their wording, their branding. It's all out there. To put Larry Fink head of all that, it almost seems silly because it makes him a single figurehead to try and bring down. So I'm not really sure what the play is here because Larry
I
Fink,
know. I think I've got a clear view of what this is.
oh, God.
He wants to head up the WEF so he can smash hookers all week in Davos.
He already owns Davos. Davos is the
Yeah,
event.
that's probably already happening. That's why I am laughing. Like behind the
So
scenes, that's standard.
many hookers and so much blow.
Yeah.
When they even said like they like the private jets ran out because there was so many hookers being flown into Davos last year.
Yeah.
And there's not enough. Was it Switzerland? I don't think they had enough single women for all these elderly, middle-aged white gentlemen that are trillionaires to bang. They had to fly more in. It just
Hmm.
seems a bit silly. Don't know. It just makes him a bit of a figurehead, right? Because obviously, for the people paying attention, we know all this. And BlackRock is one of the greatest secrets that the average normie has no clue who BlackRock is. They think you're talking about Blackstone, which ironically is a sister company of BlackRock. But the fact they own 10% of every company in the S&P 500, they have also funded both sides of every war for the last 100 years. They win in every situation that has happened.
BlackRock.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was linked to that family.
Oh man. What? What family? Oh, the Rothschilds. No,
Yeah.
Larry Fink. I actually watched a great documentary on Larry Fink.
Oh, sorry. The Rothschild were 100 years before that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. They also, yeah, obviously the Rothschilds, the WAF, Larry Fink, BlackRock, they're all the Soros family, they're all one and the same. But Larry Fink himself, he actually made his money in well, he made it on Wall Street to be fair, betting on various companies to do well and did very well doing that. But then he really made his money when once he had established a bankroll, he decided to start funding wars. And so the countries that were raising funds to buy weapons and artillery to fire against other countries, he realized funding both sides was genius and had great results. So then the conspiracy kind of comes in where it's, well, are you starting these wars and then funding both sides and then starting another?
Well, I was going to say that's the rumors about the other family.
Yeah, yeah, because
Uh,
they
and
did.
that goes to World War One. It goes into previous wars as well. It's all over the place.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, it's a bit scary, but yeah, what can you do? Because no one believes you.
I do miss Klaus though.
He
Klaus,
was a bit of a meme, wasn't he?
he
When
literally
he was,
looked
Mm.
like the guy from
Classic villain.
Star Wars, like.
yeah, and he's in his emperor suit costume, wasn't he?
Oh yes,
Good old Klausy.
I gotta find the picture of that. Yeah, there he is. So, oh, Klaus or Klaus Schwab,
That's my favorite costume.
he's not even trying to look normal there, is
I wonder if he's wearing that when he's smashing the hookers.
he? Yeah,
My God, what on earth is he wearing?
he got exposed just for the fact that he just got almost became too famous, and we were just going at him too much. I'm pretty sure he caved and went into the background. But it does make if anything, for me, it's a bit encouraging. The fact that Larry Fink is taking over from BlackRock and also taking over from Klaus on the WAF, and then and then we had Biden in America. You just kind of go, these are very elderly, quite public figures now
Yeah.
that you, traditionally they have these young 40 to 50-year-old charismatic, good-looking individuals taking over. And they're putting these old fogies in charge, which I have a slight little bit of faith in the fact that I think they're running out of these people that are in their little club that are continuing to
Yeah,
want to run this. Because where's the next generation that's coming through for them
yeah,
want to run this level of scam and to be competent enough to be able to talk it through? Like, where are their children? Where are the
I say that
the pre yeah.
we're getting a lot of incredibly stupid politicians in the UK at the moment, aren't we? Who can't explain it.
No, I get you what you mean in terms of the successes, because I was just checking that, Klaus is 87. So, you've got to start or have the successes. And I don't think for all their smarts, they've put in a very good succession plan for any of this. It's just more of the same, but more of the same is simply dying out because they haven't you know, they've not let enough people into the circle.
Do you know what my theory is though on that? I think they do let people in, and then those people
And
see it and go, "You're fucking disgusting. I
and
am
yeah,
not going to live that life." And
yeah,
go on TV constantly, go to conferences, and talk about climate change, diversity, equity, inclusion, all that bollocks, and say it's for the human good, knowing full well it's not, and I'm profiteering off the back of it.
yeah,
I think there's a lot of people that they've already made their money, right? They're born into very, very rich families. They're never going to be hard done by, they're never going to do a day's work in their life. But they get told, if you want to succeed me, you just say these things. I think they see it and go, it's fucking bollocks, though. It's
yeah,
lies.
But
And they're
what?
like, we can't put you out there. You're going to
So
fucking
Klaus is like,
us all.
to succeed me, you must say these things and wear this robe. You must look like the emperor.
Exactly. I think they've got a load of sons, daughters, nieces and nephews that are going, this is bollocks then. And they're like, well, we can't put them out there. They can't be trusted. So it's just these old fogies have to do it. I think
I just
they're
don't.
running out of people that are this fucking evil. But who knows, eh? Who knows?
Should we move on to a bit of a funny story?
Yeah, go on.
So the next one is some world-renowned economics, apparently, who somehow thinks that it's a bit of a flex to say that Bitcoin was wrong um, a decade ago, and now he's still saying that it's wrong in summary, which I find really funny that someone is proven to be wrong and yet still insists that everyone else is wrong. And it's like, do you not just stop and think, I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the problem here. But no, he's doubled down, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, even though he's wrong, yeah, it's the fact that the whole world's wrong and he's the only one that's right. Because essentially he said a decade ago, so this is 10 years ago, right? In 2015, he said that Bitcoin was more likely to go to $100 than 100K. It obviously went to 100K. And 2015 was the price is well below £1,000 or $1,000. So it's 100x upwards, and it was, you know, it wasn't that far above $100 anyway, 10 years ago. So what his prediction was not even that controversial probably at the time because, well, yeah, to go back down to $100, Bitcoin people would probably be like, well, probably, it probably will. Then it'll go to 100K. But he obviously never thought it's going to go to 100K. But
So there's some great memes in this thread,
yeah, go on.
some cracking ones. Well, I was going to say you just need to scroll down. Wrong by six figures. so far. I still don't. I still
Try and
don't.
try and
I don't understand Bitcoin, but you're wrong about it.
try and get to the like what is his explanation there? Because there's a lot of cope in here. So he basically goes, so why is he wrong? Because he's admitting this, right? So he's missed out on 100x gains. So he's going
So you got
limit.
regulation, you've got crime, which is pretty much it. Underground economy, cryptocurrency regulation. Those are pretty much those. Oh yeah, and then the regulation sheet in chief holding hundreds of millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. So
It's playing Trump there.
yeah, so literally he's come up with three reasons to cope. Like one, if you want to take it apart, it's the underground economy, and it's just like, well, it's a use case. This is how money is going to form over time, and you should know that if you're apparently economist from Harvard. And then two, if you go for the regulator in chief, well, what do you expect them to do? There's a booming economy happening. Are we not going to have some investments in it, even if it is stolen? And then third, what was the third one? Oh yeah, it's cryptocurrency regulation. I don't understand what that even means. Like, why do you need further regulation? Regulation doesn't make anything naturally better.
Yeah, to facilitate tax evasion and illegal activities. He clearly has no clue that the amount of regulation on Bitcoin already, good luck for the average person getting away with tax evasion and illegal activities. Well, what are you fucking talking about? There's there's more regulation on Bitcoin than there is opening up a bank account for fiat. So that's just an outright lie. But yeah, it's funny how he pulls out these random things is to like he didn't think essentially the world would be crazy and allow Bitcoin to do what it did, but doesn't even leave a single ounce of credit to Bitcoin to be like, oh,
I
actually,
know.
it is hard money. Maybe it is the better form of money than fiat.
It
Just
worries me though,
not
because
maybe it's not regulation, maybe it's not illegal activity,
yeah,
maybe it's not luck, maybe it's not just a load of FOMO. Maybe, just maybe, you were fucking wrong and Bitcoin is better money than fiat, and that is why it's 100x in the last decade. And you are still a poor economist writing
yeah.
articles slating Bitcoin instead of just going, I was wrong. Bitcoin is better money
But
than fiat.
but maybe there's a play here. Maybe he's trying to get invited to Davos.
What is one of the is one of the prostitutes or as a speaker?
Don't know. It depends what floats his boat.
Yeah. And if Rogoff,
But
what
doesn't it worry you that these people are seen as like the smartest people, and going to Harvard and all the prestige around
I just
Harvard?
find it hilarious. Like now I've pulled back the curtain, I find it pretty hilarious and have done for
Yeah.
quite a while. When I read these articles about how greedy corporations cause inflation, Bitcoin's just for money launderers and criminals and everything else. So yeah, it's just I find it
It
pretty funny
also
now.
it also reminds me, I forget the website, but it was the article, the Yuppie Elite and how they don't get Bitcoin. And again, it's just that classic case here where because they think they are so smart and superior to everybody else that if they don't get it or didn't get it, then everybody else is wrong. Shall
sweet.
we move on?
Yeah, so should we do last story of the week? It's basically a bit of a shitcoin corner, but essentially it's good old Justin Sun, who is the founder of Tron, and apparently he has done an article with Bloomberg, and he accidentally, oh, where we got it, he accidentally admitted that he had 60 billion Tron. And he forgot that the total supply is only 95 billion, so he just admitted that he had a 2/3 of the supply of his own coin. Um, and he's now suing Bloomberg for the fact that they published that information. And the crazy thing is, because he's suing them, the emails and the discovery, it's all here. And essentially there's emails here between the Justin's team and Bloomberg's team basically going, you shouldn't have published this. They went, we've just published a figure about net wealth. I don't know what you're worried about. And they're like, no, 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 you were meant to amalgamate that up and just put it to a figure, not specify how that figure came to fruition. And he's now suing them for basically outing him as the guy that owns 2/3 of the Tron supply. But he openly admitted it to a journalist. And what do you think they were going to do with that information? Of course, they're going to publish it.
Publish it. Of course.
And he's now being a bit of a figurehead, right? He bought dinner with Warren Buffett for $5 million. He's on the next flight, the Katy Perry and the deep
Oh yeah.
flight to space with Jeff Bezos. He's on the next one. Apparently, he spent 26 million or something on that. But yeah, he owns all this Tron, which somehow is a top 10 shitcoin and has been for quite a while, worth billions. And so he's accidentally, instead of just going, I'm worth billions to this Bloomberg person, he's gone, well, what makes up your billions? Like, what assets are you in? And he's gone, oh yeah, I have these billions and billions of Tron, and accidentally admitted he owns basically 66% of it. But I think at this point, if you own Tron and you don't think you're in a manipulative market where a single guy just calls the shots, then don't know.
My
Are you
God, this guy's interesting. He was an early investor in Bitcoin. So he's obviously made off that one. And he became a Davos global shaper in 2014. In late 2013, he joined Ripple Labs as chief representative and advisor. He'd launched the Tron token in 2017. I'm just like, this guy is just a proper grifter.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's just an Asian kid that just keeps popping up. And to be fair to him, everything he touches seems to turn to gold. But yeah, obviously we knew that his shitcoin scam, like Ethereum's the same. They did a 70% pre-mine as well. It's just that Tron did a 70% pre-mine and just gave it to Justin, the guy that decided to start it. And now somehow it's, I read somewhere, I think it might have even been this thread somewhere, that a large percent of Tether is transacts and on Tron. You just go, why the fuck are people doing that? And just that in itself is making him millions a month in the moving of billions worth of Tron, USDT, backs and forwards.
Crazy.
But anyway, this is the Bitcoin corner. It's
here's his final bit for it.
Bitcoiners.
Final closing statement for him. In November 2024, Sun purchased one of 3 limited edition rights to Comedian, a 2019 conceptual artwork by Mauricio Catalan consisting of a banana duct taped to a wall for $5.2 million.
Yeah. Do you know he still has that? He somehow sold it on. And it's they call it a living artwork where you have to replace the banana every 2 weeks. And somehow I think he sold it for more than he bought it for. That's the nuts thing. Someone bought it off.
So it's money laundering, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally, yeah. Obviously the tape doesn't hold its stick and the banana rots. So it is a banana stuck to a thing, but then it's literally like an NFT where you know anyone can copy and paste it, but the banana stuck to a wall, you sell it on to someone else because you're the person that owns sticking a banana on a wall, but when they buy it, they have to stick a different banana to a wall with a different sellotape. It's insane.
Yeah, there's our closing point, Valton.
Right, well, there we have it. Pod 179, brought to you once again by the usual suspects after our little summer break, which was Mr. All-In, aka the $1 trillion man, Dr. Evil 10%, aka the People's Champ, myself, Sir Neverlook, aka the Excellence of Execution, and no surprise, Mrs. No Show, nowhere to be seen. We'll be back with Pod 180. Peace out.